I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you might think an experimental is a pretty powerful unit. But can it do everything on its own? The players today are going to find out. So, we have 5 versus 5 on this 15k map, and a lot of those 5 on each side are familiar faces. Let's go in and meet them. We have the North team up here, the South team down here. Taking the flank position for North team, this is HoppeBoi. HoppeBoi is 1024 rated, he's Cybran in Burgundy. To his right, behind the cliffs, we have none other than Sandman27. He is 1335 rated, he is Eon, and he's in Mauve. In this rearguard slot, we have none other than the Macho Man himself, RandySavage. He is 1482 rated, and he's Cybran in Electric Pink. In the air slot, we have BannableOffence. He's the game's highest rated player at 2212, and he's Eon in Fecal Brown. And finally, for North team, in the forward slot, we have HotCheeseInRear, 1196 rated, and Seraphim, he's in grey. And let's meet the South team next. Down here, in white, we have MrBurntRuffles, 1072 rated, and Eon. In there, behind the cliffs position, we have RyGuys, 1421 rated, and Cybran. He is in orange. At the back here, this is TwitchyMofo, who is 1627 rated and UEF. He's in yellow. In their air position, we have FaffingOff, whom we've seen a few times recently, and every time we've seen him, he's been in the air position, and he's built an enormous number of T1 bombers. Is he going to be doing that this time? We'll have to find out. FaffingOff is 2025 rated, he's Eon, and he's in purple. And last but not least, we have, walking forward here, Rock to be True, who is 1082 rated, and Eon, he's in red. The map, 15 kilometers across, has this big plateau in the middle, which you can't get to from the land, so either dropping or edge building will be needed. There's a bunch of reclaim on and around the plateau in the bottom corner, and there's a couple of civilian cities which have reclaim in. However, as you can tell from the colour, the civilian cities are enemies, and so they'll shoot you with these turrets if you come close. Now, Ruffles has already sent these two artillery pieces to go and take out those point defences, which will mean that he can safely pass by here, and will mean that this engineer will be able to go in and eat these up for mass, which will be a nice early pickup in terms of mass if he can get it. I said you the only way onto the plateau was edge building or dropping, and HoppeBoi is already edge building. He's setting up a factory from below with the extended beam range on his commander. And at the moment, though, he's only queued up engineers, you can see in the bottom left corner there. And if I were in his position, I'd want to get out a few units first, as in tanks, to stop the plateau being contested. And he will need to do that because we've got tanks already queued up here from RyGuys, who's edge building the plateau as well. And he's doing so with at least 2 factories. And so, if he's allowed to get these up and get those tanks out, he'll have the advantage over Hoppe. However, Hoppe's ally Sandman is also on the plateau, and so there may be some more production being put up in order to take it for the North team. We'll look at this transport later, which you'll notice has also got a couple of labs on it, as well as engineers, so hopefully he'll be going for some cheeky ghetto action. But right now I want to look at this bomber, which will hopefully do something. Well, it failed to drop there, but it's definitely seen the plateau as what it needs to defend, but it flies straight over the factory. Is it going to try and take out the tank? Or rather the Mantis, which is a bot rather than a tank. Yes, it is. However, since it's a Eon bomber, it does have the stun function on its bomb, that's the word, but it takes 2 hits to destroy anything that isn't Eon, at T1, as do all other bombers. So, 1 NG picked up by those labs, 2 NGs. Actually, was that an NG? No, that was a radar. Nice. And on it goes. This factory, if it could be denied by those labs, so this has already done its job of putting NGs off all around the place, and we'll look up here in just a moment. But it's also denied this factory by killing 3 engineers, and it might even get this one as well. If so, this will be huge, and this transport will definitely have paid for itself. It gets shot down by a interceptor from Twitchy, but it's denied 2 factories for RyGuys. It's denied him getting to these mexes any faster, and he'll have to re-expand from here. And that's 6 NGs and a radar taken out, so that one transport really paid for itself. And we got a nice little raid coming in from Cheese across here, which could pick up an unsuspecting engineer. We'll see if it pays off later, but this was the other place that Sandman dropped. He's getting production up here, and that I think is wise, because look how much he has that he can actually fight over up here at the top. And we've got a 3rd factory out from RyGuys up here. This one's his engineer factory, but these 2 are both producing combat units, and so far now we've got combat units out from Hoppy, and Sandman also putting up a factory, so they might be able to contest this plateau. Meanwhile, how is the raid from Cheese doing? It's sneaking round behind, trying to get into the air grid for Faffing, but I think Faffing's seen it, and this bomber is going to do the damage. As we said, it will take 2 hits, but not if this Aurora comes in to finish the job and the raid doesn't really get anything done. Good defense from South Team. Now, Cheese has brought his comm a very long way forward here, and he's pretty much unsupported. Look, there's stuff from Rock all around here and around here. I think that, and he's just claiming these mexes. And while a mex only needs to last 18 seconds at T1 in order to pay for itself, this does feel pretty bold, although I suppose he can just go and hide in this pond, which definitely looks deep enough to hide in. Meanwhile, we have upgrades going down on Twitchy, on Rock, and on Randy. And it seems like Ruffles has found Sandman's production at the top, and so far, Sandman only has engineers up here, so this lot should be able to wipe over it very easily indeed. Is he going to go in? He's taking out 1 energy, but he's not choosing to push. In fact, he's falling back. We'll check back on that in a moment. Hoppy has retreated to the water here, but Ruffles has come and taken out these mexes that he put up. The comp could just pop out and kill these easy peasy, and he has got now spamming support, so that's what I would do in his position, but he's choosing to remain in the water when he's under the water, so he can't be hit from anything on the surface, and he's going for the gun upgrade. Only now is this engineer from Ruffles going to actually claim this city. I thought he'd have taken it long ago after his very early attempts to take it out. Now he goes in, and now he will easily take out this production from Sandman. He'll probably also get this eco from Hoppy if he's being clever. Can he see it? Yes, he can. Over here, though, Hoppy has he just sent artillery pieces to even start, allowing him towards the city. So despite his delay, Burnt was still faster picking up on this eco. And Sandman is on the way to advance. He surely can't afford that. No, he can't. He's only not power stored because he's in such a horrific mass store. And that's because he's assisting it so hard. And look how slowly, even with this amount of assistance, he's getting the advanced range. I think he's made the classic mistake. Yes, he has. You can see here that he has started advanced range, not just regular range, but advanced range, without a T2P gen to his name. And that is often economic suicide. It's a mistake I've made in the past until my trainer kicked it out of me. Meanwhile, we have Twitchy's Guncom here, easily holding back the spam from Randy. Randy's got gun and stealth on, Twitchy's only got gun, but Randy's comm is still all the way back here, and he needs to wait until his comm is in front of the spam in order to take the fight. Cheese has sent a little bit of spam down here, but I think there's going to be enough from Rock to stop it. And there we go. Randy has fallen back his spam until his comm can come forward and join in the combat. Cheese has finished getting gun. Yes, but he's not coming out yet. Once you've got gun, you really need to actually get some work done with it, so I would like to see him coming out of the water pretty soon. But meanwhile, Randy is advancing on Twitchy. They've both got spam, they've both got gun. Randy's got stealth as well. I think Twitchy may be forced to fall back here. It feels like Randy has the slight advantage. But Randy may have the advantage for a moment, but Rock is here with gun and with advanced range as well. Could he afford it? I don't know. I wasn't watching. Be surprised if he could. He hasn't got a T2 Pigeon either. But got it he has, and that's enough to force Randy into retreat. Meanwhile, though, Ruffles is pushing in on Sandman, who still hasn't finished the advanced range, and he's got a lot of support here. There's the advanced range, but by now they're too close for that to matter. With a lot of support here from the spam from RyGuys. They are pushing the northern team back, and they've got almost... Oh, look, see, he cleaned out this with the units we saw earlier. He's got all of this area. Map control in the north is definitely going in favour of the south. The south will rise again. I mean, what? Anyway, yes, Sandman is being pushed back here, although Hoppy has come in to help out. And Sandman is bringing in bombers to help out his cause. They quickly get shot down, but they do a bit of damage. But now we have 2 comms v2 and a little bit more spam from Hoppy helping out. Sandman has lost all of this eco, but at least I don't think he's going to be actually destroyed just yet. These 2 units will be able to comms of Ruffles and RyGuys. They will be able to hold this position, but Hoppy and Sandman will be able to retreat safely, I think. Meanwhile, we got to go back and watch Cheese. I was complaining that Cheese was a long way forward without protection. Well, now look what he's got. He has got a big horde of Tech 2 Yenzine hover tanks coming in to support his comm. And those are more than a match for the T1 spam that Rock is still putting out. He's assisting himself. He's following gun with T2, and he's following T2 directly with tactical missile. So we'll see if he gets any work done with that. Meanwhile, though, his Yenzine hover tanks are definitely going to be able to carve their way through Rock's Auroras. Has Rock even got T2 yet? He's only just reached T2 here, and he's putting up his PGen, but I don't think he's got any T2 offensive land units out. So this could be quite the win for Cheese. And he's already colonising all of this area with his NGs, and he's dropping down here. He'll get Reclaim, he'll get Mexes. Rock isn't really in a position to contest it. But I think it's time to go play-by-play. At the top, Sandman has gone T2 air, and he's using a couple of Spectre T2 gunships to try and snipe his opposite number, RyGuys. RyGuys is going to be forced to fall back a bit here. Will he have enough anti-air support? Sandman is not afraid to cover himself with his own interceptors. Meanwhile, Cheese has nearly finished his TAC missile upgrade. And his spam is being worked for a bit here. We do now have Blazes coming in, and even an Obsidian, which I think is the right choice to fight the Yenzines. Out comes Cheese from the water. He's got gun, he's got T2, so he's pretty tanky and can pump out firepower. Obviously the TAC missile is a whole separate issue. Meanwhile, we're going up onto the plateau where RyGuys' forces are advancing on Hoppies. Sandman didn't really put up much production here in the end, and I think RyGuys has got a bit more. So he's just charging forward. Is he going to be able to take it all? Let's find out. His bombs take out the T2 radar, which is pretty nice. Back to Sandman's attempt to gunship snipe RyGuys, where RyGuys' air player, Faffing, has brought in he's brought in ASFs. That's going to be enough to do the deed, I think, and take out the gunships that were hitting RyGuys, but BannableOffence has come in with his own ASFs, and he's going to take the air fight. Cheese is still blasting his way through the tanks of Rock, and he fires his tactical missile. What's he actually firing at, though? Mechs down here? Blam, and that was nearly upgraded too. Nice. Back to RyGuys on the plateau as he advances on Hoppy's production. Hoppy's got these 2 factories up here, but this one's going to go down, and with this many Mantis plus a bit of bomber support, I think that RyGuys is going to have no problem claiming the plateau. There's a few units still up here for Hoppy, but they're going down. Alright, RyGuys has the plateau. I want to see some T2RT or tactical missiles going up here. That would be a perfect use of this plateau. I hope we see that. Back to Ruffles, and well, RyGuys has been driven back. Ruffles has set up a couple of point defences and a flak which will stop any gunship snipes coming on him, and with those to fall back to, he's pushing forward on Hoppy and Sandman, and now it's Sandman who's forced to fall back. However, Ruffles is taking a bit of a beating, and so he's going to fall back to his point defences. Back to Cheese as he blasts all the tanks around him from Rock, but Rock has brought his comm in, and Rock has the advanced range on his gun, so that would mean he can shoot at Cheese, while Cheese can't shoot back at him. Meanwhile, Randy has advanced a little bit, and he's found himself in the middle of Twitchy's spam. He's got gun, he's got stealth, and Twitchy's only got gun and does a little damage, but Twitchy's got a decent amount of spam here, and Randy has only just fallen back to his, so he has taken a little bit of damage. Still, he's fallen back, he's got his spam with him, and that's enough to make Twitchy fall back. Back to Ruffles and Hoppy. Hoppy is wisely not advancing any further. I think he knows there are point defences here. Does he? Yes, he does. And so he's not going to take the fight. Rock and Cheese still fighting, just like in the music industry or something like that. I don't know, some rock is pretty cheesy. I do like a bit of darkness, for example. Anyway. And if that's not cheese, I don't know what, while also being amazing rock, I don't know what is. Anyway, they are fighting it out, and is Cheese going to be forced back into the water? Rock does have a shield covering him, but I don't know if he's got enough actually to break Cheese. However, he doesn't seem to want to push it out when Cheese has put up point defences, so Rock is going to have to fall back. But he's coming forward again, is RandySavage. Walking forward, alone, with his spam somewhere behind him. There's a chance that Twitchy could swarm him, but I don't think Twitchy's going to take it. He knows this spam army is right here. And they're posturing a little bit. Oh, I came in here hoping we were going to see a big engagement, and we do get some com-on-com action. I'll give them that. And Randy's bringing his spam in. Come on, let's see a nice up close and personal into the red scrap. But Twitchy's playing it safe. He's falling back with his comm. And so we're going to go back and have a look at a little bit of Cheese. Cheese has his point defense here. He's putting up production here. Rock is still hanging around, but he hasn't got quite as much spam as I think he would like. And Cheese is taking the chance to fire that tactical missile he built, and he's firing it straight at Rock's base. What's Rock got that he can hit? I'm guessing he's going for one of these T2 mexes. Blam. A T2 mex and a couple of engineers taken out, and immediately we see a tactical missile defense or two being killed by Rock. Good awareness, he's seen it coming, he knows it's hitting him, and he's going to respond. But I don't think that's going to go up in time to stop this next tactical missile, which is coming in on him. Boom. The second mech is down. Have we got another tactical missile coming? Yes, we have. Is this TMD going to go up in time? Yes, it is. Now, Eon TMD is basically the best TMD, though it covers a slightly smaller radius than other TMDs. And so that's easily going to catch this missile and neutralize it. Back up to Randy and Twitchy. Randy is coming back in, but Twitchy is also reinforcing his lines, and I was hoping we'd be going back up to something interesting there, but it looks like we're not, so I'm instead going to take a moment to look at the eco. With the map controller like it is, we have much more of the north side in the possession of south team and much more of the south side in possession of north team, which is, I guess, just the way it turns out. However, North team have the eco lead by a factor of about, well, I don't know by a factor of, but by about 60. And they've collected 60 mass per tick, and they've collected around 40,000 more mass over the course of the game. Whereas the amount of mass killed by each team is about even, so North team with the eco lead. Meanwhile, though, Cheese and Rock are scrapping a game with the Yenzymes of Cheese versus the Obsidians of Rock. And both comms pumping out the damage. I think Rock actually started shield and had to cancel it there. Yes, he did. So that was good forcing the cancel from Rock, but now Cheese is actually under a lot of pressure because he's lost all his Yenzymes. What's he got here? He's got 1 point defense, about to be another, unless that's and that's denied. That point defense is denied. Cheese is going to be forced back to the water. With his Tech 2 and his 4 vets, he's got a lot of hit points to work through. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep a hold of this base. Cheese is going into the water. But as he does so, Banner brings in T3 gunships, T3 anti-air gunships, the restorers that the Eon have to play with, which can not only deal out decent air-to-ground damage, but also protect themselves a bit against these, the ASFs from Faffing. And Banner's got his own ASFs covering it as well. And now it is Rock who is forced into an ignominious retreat by this air from Banner. I don't think he wants to actually get the snipe, because it would give this base and this eco to Faffing, who is much higher rated than Rock. So I think he wants to avoid the snipe there, though. Meanwhile, though, Banner has tooled up with sensors and heavy shield at advanced range, and has come in to help out Randy against Twitchy, and the restorers come in, but now so does Faffing with his ASFs, and he's going to take the air fight. However, don't forget, these restorers have a lot of hit points and pump out a decent amount of anti-air, and so I don't think that Faffing has enough to take. Look, of course he's doing it. There's a big heap of T1 bombers there. It's not an addiction. He can quit any time he wants. And Twitchy is under quite a lot of pressure here from two comms, from the restorers. Faffing does come in and pick off the restorers. And Twitchy's into the red, but he gets a crucial vet. He was into the red, and he gets a rank of veterancy. And now Rock is coming to his rescue with a bunch of obsidians, a bunch of blazes. Twitchy might go back down into the red here, but he's retreating, and suddenly there's not much spam left for Banner and Randy, and they're forced back. So nice assistance being lent there by Rock. And Twitchy's now got T3 in the mix. He's got Perseverers, which is what happened to so much of this. I don't think Randy is even... Oh, he is at T3 now, but he hasn't started producing T3 units yet. And now the restorers are able to clean up the forces from Rock. I don't know if Rock knew how much there was here because of these stealth fields in the mix. Meanwhile, though, let's have a look at this. At the back of the base belonging to Rock, we have this cheeky little Ophium, which had been landed in a T1 transport by HotCheeseInRear, and here is some hot cheese in Rock Speed Crew's rear. There are several T2 mexes he can just pick up here, and there's one down already. How is Rock... It's been punged, it's been seen, but how is Rock going to be able to answer this? He's already lost three T2 mexes as this one goes down. Well, it looks like it's Faffing who's going to answer it, with the immense horde of T1 bombers we mentioned just a second ago. And there's so many of them that with the damage over time, one pass is enough to take out this tank. Well, it was still... Oh, I said 3, I meant 4. This mech's got taken out as well. 4 T2 mechs for 1 Othium? I like that trade. Meanwhile, Sandman has sent gunships to clear up the plateau, and he's doing that so that he can re-land on the plateau with his own engineers and try and recolonize it from RyGuys. But RyGuys has got T2 production on the plateau. Oh, yeah, I see, he was putting out missile launchers in an attempt to be able to bombard down here. But that's... Oh, the gunships have just come over here and landed because he's now putting out flak, is RyGuys, to stop the gunships. Twitchy advancing again. Now he's got a bit more T3, see if he can get some damage done. Percy's and mobile shields are a powerful combination. Twitchy's still quite damaged, and with only gun, I would be wary of being this far forward at this stage of the game, but he's still quite far forward. However, he is this time behind to spam, which at this stage I feel is more wise. And are we going to see the restorers coming in? Actually, you know what we're going to see? We're going to see T1 bombers from Ruffles as well, trying to hit the units belonging here to Sandman, but most of the stuff that Sandman has shields. So back to Twitchy's forces. Faffing looks like... Oh, we're going to have the airfight, guys. We're going to have the airfight. And that's a terrible move from Faffing, who's just losing basically all his air for free as he tries to run away from Bannable. He's getting it over the flak here, which is good. But he's already lost so much that I think that Bannable is just going to be able to take air control at this stage. And indeed he does. Boom, Bannable has 1 air, and with those restorers he's still got over here, that could be a very powerful turn of events indeed. Oof, that was intense. What have we still got going on? Well, the Eco lead still belongs to North Team, and they've now collected 80,000 more mass than South Team, and they are also, by the looks of things, in the lead on mass killed, so everything economically is going North Team's way. What can South Team do to turn this around? For me, I think it comes down to the fact that they've got all of this map control and they've got actual mixes up on most of it. Although while that's been happening, there's a decent amount of mixes going in Cheese's way down here that Rock hasn't got. However, back to Twitchy. He is engaging the units of... forgotten his name, RandySavage. And because, as we mentioned, RandySavage hasn't really got T3 production of it yet, here are his first T3 units coming in. The Percys from Twitchy are able to do some punishment, and look at that, they are punishing Randy's comm down into the red, but they didn't move very fast after him, and now the restorers from Bannable on it. Bannable's comm with his heavy shield and extra range is helping out. The Percys can't push against all of that, and that will give RandySavage a chance to bring in his battalion of bricks. Meanwhile, Ruffles has gone for an arty battery up here in order to try and do damage to Sandman and Hoppy, who are hiding behind their choke points. Hoppy's stuff is still mainly T1. He is on his... No, he's not on his way to T3. He's still only at T2 and not even upgrading yet. Though Sandman has a few Harveys and Sniper bots out. However, I think that we need to get a little bit of play-by-play going here. Previously, I said it looked like Bannable didn't want to resto slight Rock, but it seems like he's changed his mind. However, Rock has heavy shield, and even for this many restorers, that's going to take a decent amount of time for Bannable to work through. He's retreating here towards this static shield he's got. He's putting up flak under that shield. Is it going to save him? Meanwhile, we saw Cheese do this with 1 Othium before. Now he's doing it with 4 times the Cheese, 4 times the Othiums, 4 times the fun. He has dropped 4 Othiums into the back of Rock space, and that's also the location of the T3 HQ on land for Faffing. Taking that out could be a huge pickup if he's able to manage it. back to Rock as he gets under his static shield. But the restorers are gonna pound their way through that in no time. In fact, he's got more hit points on his personal shield than this static shield has, and not even one single flak is gonna go up. So how high do I rate Rock's chances of survival? Well, to be honest, the answer is not very. But it looks like he's going to be focusing on the mexes. I would have loved to see him shoot this, but that's not his choice. And of course, Faffing is responding with the T1 bombers once again. They drop down their napalm hits, and they're probably going to burn that offfield before it even clears. Yes, they are. However, Banner brings in his ASFs. Back to Rock. His shields are all down. He's into the yellow. He's got nothing really to support him, and there's so many restorers here. He's into the red. Boom! Rock, to be true, is our first ejection from the game at 24 minutes. Feels like we should have had more ejections by now, but 24 minutes, there it is. And it's actually the game's second lowest rated player, I think. Or possibly third, I don't remember the exact rankings. Faffing inherits. Back to Cheese's Ophiums, which are now the focus of an air fight in between Banner and Faffing. And it looks like Faffing is actually going to take it. Banner gets a turn, but Faffing is coming back. There goes Rock, which we saw earlier. And the air fight is clearing up, and I do believe that Faffing has won. And if those restorers hadn't been sniping Banner, they'd have been able to contribute to this air fight, but no dice. And so Faffing has taken air control, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, we're back up on the northern front, where we have quite a lot of sniper bots being masked here by Ruffles. And Sandman does have a couple of sniper bots too, but there are just more here from Ruffles, and sniper bots are really the bane of any comm on the front line. Sure, we have shield on Sandman, but Hoppy's only got stealth, and if they see him, those sniper bots could tear him apart in an instant. Does North Team have an answer to this? And if these guys trickling in get line of sight for the sniper bots, can they see him? Absolutely they can. That could be painful. And HoppeBoi though is retreating. Meanwhile, Sandman's got Artie Spam taking back control of the plateau. Oh, but here's the answer to the sniper bots. We have another wave of T2 Spectre gunships from Sandman, and gunships are great at clearing up snipers, T2 gunships, as are T1 bombers actually. However, and you look how many of the snipers just died, but there's a decent amount of flak in this mix from RyGuys, and it takes out the gunships. Now, despite Faffing's relentless T1 bombers, Cheese has just managed to get some units straight in the front. He's just driven some Ophiums in here, no need for a drop. And they're hurting the base. They're taking out a mech here that used to belong to Rock to be true and now belongs to Faffing. However, Faffing managed to keep his HQ, wherever that... Actually, no, he didn't. Where did it go? Maybe he reclaimed it when he inherited this one. Oh yeah, that must have been it. And so he's been able to repel Cheese's most recent attack. Meanwhile, RyGuys gives us our first XP of the game. There we go. He's completed a Monkey Lord. And that's coming round to help Twitchy out, because I think Twitchy's going to need it. Because look at this. He has got shield now, but this is a lot of bricks from RandySavage. Many more bricks than we have Percy's here from Twitchy, but this monkey could make all the difference if that's where RyGuys is going to send it. We've still got this strange split of map control down here. How are we doing eco-wise? Well, now we have a 25% eco lead. That's like 300 mass per tick eco lead for the North team, and it's definitely turning into stuff. And they still have the lead on mass killed as well. Meanwhile, we also have an XP going up here, a Galactic Colossus for MrBurntRuffles, which is heading towards the front line there where Sandman is still standing. That could be a problem for him. Twitchy advancing forward, bolstered and encouraged by this monkey up behind him, but this is a lot of bricks that he's got to face. And RyGuys just gives the monkey to Twitchy. Is Randy going to push in? Yes, he isn't. Look how quickly he shreds through the shields, covering Twitchy's comm. Twitchy falls back among his units, and Randy pushes in, sensing blood. But this monkey is coming forward. However, we are going to have to go to play-by-play here. Starting with a quick look at Cheese, who is bringing his Othiums again in against the base that used to belong to Rock. There's some Harbies here, there's some point defense. Will this not get through? With the monkey that RyGuys has given him, look at the damage that he is able to inflict on Randy, and Randy's bricks are fleeing in the face of this experimental. Twitchy is able to push him back. Good work. And we said that the GC from Ruffles was going to threaten Sadman's front line. Well, here it is threatening Sadman's front line. We have a bit of support coming in behind it, but look at Bannable's restore the pressure hitting this GC. That's gonna hurt. Cheese has not just gone straight in on the base that used to belong to Rock, he's flanking around it. Maybe he thinks he can get a better angle if he comes here. I think he might be trying to take out the HQ. No, he is just pushing in. Back to the GC belonging to MrBurntRuffles, as Bannables has his air fight taken by Faffing. Sandman is also bringing gunship defense, and that GC is already down to half health. It's taking a lot of hits. Back to Cheese as he walks over the base that used to belong to Rock and now belongs to Faffing. He's got Othiums coming in under Seraphim T3 mobile shields. He's got anti-air cover in case Faffing tries his cheeky bomber shenanigans. I think he's gonna get damage done. The HQ is still up though, and there's actually so much anti-air firepower and shield firepower in here, there's not much in the way of Othiums. Still, there isn't much in the way of Harbies or point defense left here in order to defend, and so I think it is going to get the work done. The GC advances ever so slowly into Sandman's base, but now it's in there and it can do some damage. It didn't finish off this mech, it didn't finish off this mech which is upgrading. Is it? Okay, one mech's dead. Is this GC being microed? It's down to the red, but it's almost on a veterancy. And it might just be able to, there we go, it's got its veterancy. And the air pressure seems to have eased off a little bit on this GC. The HQ would be a very nice target. And it is... so would the S&D, but it doesn't seem to be targeting either, and point defenses are going up all the time. Look at this. Cheese is taking the fight in Rock's old base, and he is staying around to blow up all the eco, but the monkey from Twitchy that we saw driving off Randy a second ago and Twitchy's Percy's are flanking in to cut off the push from Cheese. They form up, in they come. What has Cheese got that can stop this? I don't think he's got enough to take on a force this big with the monkey and the Percy's and everything. And he is just forced to fall back. But look at the damage that he has inflicted on the base belonging to, well, used to belong to Rock. He tries to save a few of his Othiums. MrBurntRuffles GC in Sandman's base is again under restorative pressure from Bannable, and look at all these. One of these mass fabs would cause a chain reaction. Instead, he does take out the HQ. He's going for the power. That's going to do something. That's good. But he doesn't... where's the micro? He's not finishing off this PGen. He's killing the mexes rather than the mass fabs. The mass fabs will cause a chain reaction and cause all of these... like that. There you go. See, all you have to do is touch one mass fab, which I think he did accidentally, and he's not stopping for this either. This is insane. I mean, why did he need to leave these mexes on this PGen? I do not know, but he did. and he is still under so much pressure that he might just die before he even gets to the base of RandySavage. Back to the fight between Twitchy and Cheese. Cheese has brought in a chicken, and chicken beats monkey. There's a lot of Percy's here for it to work through though, and the chicken hasn't got much support remaining after the monkey's worked through it. And look at that, it's able to clear up a lot of damage on the Percys before they manage to get in range and open fire. The Percys swarm in on the chicken, as does the monkey, and the chicken's taken a decent amount of damage. Is the monkey going to be able to finish it off? I think it is. I think there's fatty fire coming in from Faffing's fatty that he's just built, and that finishes off the chicken and the monkey flees. Wow, good work from South Team defending against that push. Look at that, look at that. Plonk. That GC, I feel it could have done so much more. The supporting spam for this GC was a little bit too far behind, and it's going to be cleared up by a bunch of T1 bombers. Back on the plateau, RyGuys has actually brought out loyalists, and that's going to wipe up whatever Sandman's got left up here, which at the moment is just a bunch of RT, which is somehow doing damage against bricks. But these loyalists are just going to clean up. Meanwhile, Ruffles has another GC out, which is advancing on Hoppy. He's got some support this time. Will he actually, remember to support his GC this time? I don't know. We can but hope. And in the middle, we have a big bunch of Spearhead mobile missile launchers trying to dissuade RandySavage from getting too close to TwitchyMofo. This line of Percys will also help, especially if the bricks trickle in, and it does seem to have dissuaded RandySavage. Meanwhile, Bannable's built his own GC. We'll have to see where that goes. But back to Ruffles, who is advancing on HoppeBoi with his GC. But it looks like he's made a little bit of a misstep here, because his spam and his anti-air support and everything are all going over here, while his GC is going in here. Hoppy could just die here. His cob is right there. And the GC is under a lot of point defense fire. Hoppy is responding with T1 bombers, which is, to be fair, a fairly classic response to experimenters, no matter how much I dissed Trapping for it earlier. But what's he targeting with the GC? BurnTRuffles needs to hit something of import. There's a T2 RT piece here that's been causing him problems. Why doesn't he hit that? There was a T2 mix here that's been causing upgrades. That's on an upgrade. Well, it's actually caused on an upgrade. But there's an HQ here he could target, but what's he actually killing with this GC? Let me tell you, the answer is nothing. This GC, let's just watch its shame, my loyal viewers. Watch it in shame as it falls to the ground. Was completely unmicroed and achieved basically zero while its spammer hung back and did nothing. Not even all the point defense is dead. That was not the greatest play, I'm sorry to say. Meanwhile though, Randy's Brick Brigade has been advancing and retreating again, but now it's got a bigger problem on its hands. Sure, it's a huge number of bricks, which could probably take an experimenter if it got close enough. But if this fatty that TwitchyMofo has brought out is able to kite it, then those bricks are going to have a very big problem getting any closer. We've got advanced nano going down on Cheese, and I think I can see why. He's got the heavy resto field, and he's got a chicken. And by those powers combined, look at that, the resto field is giving this chicken 80,000 hit points, despite the fact that it hasn't got any veterancy yet, and 260 regen per second. That is insanely tough, so if he can keep this comm near this chicken, he will be able to do so much with it, and with the advanced nano as well, he's going to have like 60,000 hit points. I'll check back on that when he has finished it. Wow. Right, what have we got? The loyalists have indeed cleaned up the plateau for RyGuys. And he is building trebuchet artillery here. That could be good. Bring them to the front here, have them bombard Sandman's base. That would be nice. Bannable's GC is coming forward now, and although I'm sure Bannable has some air floating around somewhere, this GC seems to be lacking as much support as BurnTruffles' two GCs were earlier. The theme of this game seems to be sending GCs without support. Is he going to watch this one die as ignominiously as Ruffles had to? That's the question. What's Ruffles got to stop it? Not that much, to be fair. Not that much. Now, Cheese's army, he hasn't quite finished the Nello, so he's not coming out to support his chicken, and that means his army and his chicken are under pressure from the fatty belonging to Faffing and the monkey belonging to Twitchy. And both of those, one of those on its own would probably be not scary to a chicken plus this amount of Othiums. So both of them together, I think that is scary to a chicken and that amount of Othiums. Bannable's GC is hitting Ruffles' arty base that we commented on earlier, and it's easily going to walk its way through it. There is some T1 bomber response, as there always is to experimentals, this time coming out from Ruffles. But it looks like the GC isn't actually stopping to finish off the arty or anything. He wants to get in there deeper, maybe deny this GC, maybe hit Ruffles' eco. Meanwhile, though, Faffing is taking the air fight with Bannable. Who's going to come out on top? The Restos are trying to deny down here. They've hit some eco damage, but I think that Faffing might actually be going to take the air fight. And then the Restos won't be doing any damage because Faffing's ASFs are going to clear them up. Faffing has one air, and that means that Bannable is going to have a problem protecting his GC right here. In the south, Cheese's chicken has been caught out by Twitchy's monkey, and if Twitchy's monkey doesn't sound like an unfortunate euphemism, I don't know what does. But Twitchy's monkey has been able to clean up Cheese's chicken, and now he's just got to run away before the residue spreads all over him. Family friendly channel, Mr. Commissar. Anyway, away runs the monkey. And this GC is now under T1 air pressure, lots of T1 air pressure. And it has managed to get some mechs damage done. This is nice eco damage on the South team, which South team cannot afford. Look at the difference. But I do think that this GC is going to go down, and to T1 jesters of all things, and T1 bombers. So yeah, what is this game if not a game where GCs are legally obligated to be thrown away? Don't look at me, I didn't do it. My loyal viewers, I am not going to make you sit through the death throes of yet another GC though, when I could be showing you this. There are 3 monkeys and a vast number of bricks. How many bricks is that from RandySavage? That is 80 bricks, that's insane! Coming in against the forces of TwitchyMofo, but Twitchy has a fatty and a mega, and he's got a few Percys in here himself. One of the monkeys for Randy goes down, but this is so many bricks. 80 bricks! Surely this is going to be enough to crush Twitchy's front line. He's kiting backwards with the megalith. For my newer viewers who don't know about this, you can make a megalith move backwards and therefore not lose its firing solution by clicking behind it with a bunch of orders. A bit of time, you can see exactly how Twitchy has killed it there. Isn't that beautiful? But it's not going to be enough to save the megalith, which goes down. Twitchy has another fatty coming in from the side, but this force, to be fair, it's only got 1 monkey left, but those bricks are just so many in number that I do not know how we're going to stop them if we are in the position of South team. We do, however, have a fatty and that old monkey that did all the work down here coming in from the side, and that might be enough to help out. Triple fat pressure from South team, coming in from all different directions on these 3 bricks. However, what's that I saw? We have a huge tactical missile snipe as well as more chickens being built, but this tactical missile snipe, is it trying to kill these boys? Like, maybe? I don't know. Takes out some production, but it's not really taking out any of the experimenters. That might have been a misplay in my opinion. Either way though, The 3 fatties are all still alive, and these bricks are walking into the jaws of hell here. I mean, look at this. Twitchy is gonna lose something. He's gonna lose some production. He might gonna lose some eco. He's at risk of losing his comm. Who's now, by the way, look at those upgrades. He's got the Billy now, but he's not loading it. You can tell from his eco expenditure that he's not loading it. What was that? Okay, I'm sorry I missed that, guys, but I'm not going back to re-record that. I cannot be asked. Bannable brought in a Tsar, but Faffing took the air fight. However, is the Tsar going to be enough to make Bannable win the air fight again? I think it is. That Faffing's going to escape with a few ASFs, but Bannable's got more. Meanwhile, though, back to Twitchy, who was under huge pressure. And look at this delicious amount of fully capped T3 eco he's going to lose to the brick force, but the 3 fatties and the monkey are now sandwiching the bricks. Twitchy just has to survive long enough, and he's burning cracks to which he can fall back. The fatties are kiting, and there's a mega coming in from RyGuys, and somehow I think these powers combined are somehow going to stop Twitchy dying to this insane amount of brick firepower. That was 3 monkeys and 80 bricks, my loyal viewers, and somehow it looks like South Team are going to defend. Twitchy's under a shield. Those bricks are no match for this lot. Those few remaining bricks. Meanwhile, though, Cheese is pushing in with a huge army, but Faffing has another fatty, and he's got a big heap of broadswords. But we mustn't forget, we saw in that fight over this Tsar that Bannable won air again. So Bannable might have an answer to this. However, will it arrive in time to protect this huge army of Ophiums from what are now 2 fat boys, as well as a big bunch of broadsword T3 gunships? And while we look at this, look at Bannable's insane eco. They've now got a 60% eco lead of almost a full 1,000 mass there. And that could only have been helped by this push from Cheese taking out so much of Faffing's eco, as well as this taking out so much of Twitchy's eco. But there's a lot of anti-air support here with this chicken that Cheese has just brought in. And Bannable's air is now coming in. Where is Faffing's air? Well, he lost most of it, but he's rebuilt a lot, and it's here. But he's choosing not to respond to save his gunships. Has he noticed? No, he hasn't. Look, those gunships had landed. He was looking elsewhere. And now he responds, but by now he's lost a big heap of gunships. However, this chicken, we just watched the air fight, but that chicken was standing still in Fatty Vow, which I don't like. Bannable's going to win the air again, I'm pretty sure of it, and he does, especially with all this AA from Cheese. And now he's going in to run down the 2 fatties, and this is quite a lot of Ophiums. However, we saw the but that's a Billy out from Twitchy, I can tell, because I see the nuke symbol, but I don't hear strategic launch detected. And indeed, there it is. We can see the Billy nuke flying through the air. Twitchy's currently got 28.5k mass code. We'll see how much damage it does. I think he might have overshot a bit here. I think it's going like somewhere here. He should have aimed closer to here. But he does manage to get some damage. Looks like he got about 10k there, which is not to be sniffed at. However, the chicken has caught up with one fatty and killed it. The other, however, is bombarding it, and this chicken might go down. Is it going down? Well, broadswords from Faffing come in to finish the job, and the chicken does go down, but to the fatty has meanwhile lost its shield, and that's enough for the Ophiums to chase it down. However, there are now 2 more fatties coming in from Twitchy to help out where Faffing has lost his fatties. We do have Cheese with 52,000 hit points on his comm thanks to double nano regen and 5 vets. Ooh, that's a lot of NGs coming in. What's their plan? I don't know. Oh, that's a tactical missile bank under stealth he's planning to build. Stealth going up and then a big range of tactical missiles. We'll see if they get anything done later, but somehow, meanwhile, although the Ophiums got right up to the front line of Faffing's base, I think they're going to be repelled by the broadswords and by the fatty fire. Close shave for Faffing. Quick check up north. What have we got going on here? Well, we've got a GC out from MrBurntRuffles. We'll have to check back on that to see if he throws that one away too. But is Cheese under direct fatty fire here? He might be. It looks like they've targeted him. But he's got a lot of hit points to work through. Nevertheless, he will have to be careful. And most of what's actually left for Cheese on the front line, look, like all of this is AA. All of this is AA. Where's his actual tanks? AA and shields, anyway. He's got a few down here. Under a stealth field. Those could do more damage if they're not noticed. Can Faffing see them? Yeah, he can. They're not hidden. Ooh. Meanwhile, Hoppy's building a monkey. However, this is something I do want to note. We have a nuke out from Twitchy, and we have a nuke that's nearly loaded out from BurnTRuffles. But we've also got a nuke that's just been built for I've forgotten his name, RandySavage, Macho Man RandySavage. Another big push of bricks, but these are, and there are only experimenters to fight it, but 5 experimenters, 2 monkeys, a Mega Man, 2 fatties is a lot. Twitchy does need to kite these fatties back a bit, and there he goes, he's given the order, but that might be too late actually. Still, he billies the advancing brick army, getting another 10k of damage done with that billy nuke. The tactical missiles, however, the tactical missiles that we saw being built earlier are firing, and they are hitting the air grid of Faffing. Boom, 2 P-gens, and at least 1, maybe more, okay, 2 P-gens in A factory, could have been more, but it was still something. Now, in comes Bannable with his air to try and drive Faffing off the air fight, because there were scraps following up from Bannable. Are they going for the fatties? I think they might be. Oh, holy cow. I'm just going to watch these fatties, but then I'm going to have to show you something I just saw that's very funny indeed. Meanwhile, more volleys of tactical missiles are hitting the air grid belonging to Faffing. The fatty, in the red, hides under the water, and that should be enough to avoid the scrats. But look at this. Some people will try anything. Now, I love a bit of naughty, walkie-walkie, but this pond is about as big as a Salem, and yet he's managed to build a T2 naval factory and puts a Salem in it. Strategic launch. And there's the nuke out from BurnTRuffles. It's heading up towards the base here. Meanwhile, we've got Billy out for Twitchy. That's going to hit some more in the way of off-fumes, and he gets another 10k of damage. This chicken made it very close to the front of Faffing's base. I'm sorry, there's a lot to look at once here. But it was just about stopped by the banks of point defense, by the broadswords, by the everything. The nuke, what's it going for? Well, it's going for this frontline production belonging to RandySavage, but it didn't hit the Mega One. It didn't really hit this production belonging to Hot Cheese, so I don't know if that really paid off. The airfight is taken over the base belonging to Faffing, and again, Bannable cleans up. How much damage did that nuke do? It did 25k damage, so some. But this is interesting. We have T3 RT out from RyGuys. Where's it firing? And you can see why they're falling back on long-range defenses, because the map control is very much now in favour of okay, apart from maybe that, of North Team. We have Sandman massing experimenters here with which he can make a push. And there's only a couple of experimenters and a few tanks here from South Team to stop them. Ravagers are being used as the main defensive line here, and these fatties. What is that artillery aiming at? Well, oh, this looks like a great target. It's aiming for the air grid belonging to Bannable. Boom! And that RT has just smashed Bannable's air grid, like all of it. This is incredibly brutal. Look at that was an air grid a second ago. 2 RT hits. Who made RT? Not me, lies RyGuys. But that's got to hurt. Bannable just doesn't have an air grid anymore. And Faffing still does have an air grid. So maybe this will be the chance for him to come back. But that's a lot of restorers that Bannable has out. And last we saw Bannable... In fact, that's even more restorers. That's insane. And last we saw, Bannable had 1 air. So maybe he doesn't need the air grid if he can make those restos count right now. Meanwhile, Sandman is advancing at the top with several GCs and 1 monkey. I assume Hoppy gave him the monkey. And the South team are retreating. They've got some strats with which they can defend, I guess. And how many restorers do we have here for Bannable? 48. That's quite a lot of restorers. There's still a decent-sized air grid here. But Faffing's producing the ASFs that he needs to try and fight it. And there's also some ASFs here from MrBurntRuffles, which would be nice to add. He should give them to Faffing so Faffing can micro them. But here comes the aerial death ball belonging to Bannable. And this could be make or break for the game, I think. What are those mercies doing? That's a bunch of mercies up there. Oh, they're going to try and kill that bunch of energies there. That's quite funny, but this is where I have to look. As the air fight is taken and a huge ball of restorers, that's got a lot of hit points to work through, and it's pumping out so much anti-air. Another Billy hit there, and suddenly Faffing has no air at all, and his air grid is under restorer pressure. They're targeting the P-gens, of course, and suddenly, where's the air? Where's the air for South Team? Faffing's entire air grid, including the HQ, is up in smoke, and there's a vast cloud of restorers still alive that can utterly flatten them. There are now 2 Nova Seas here for South Team, and the first one is working its way in towards Bannable's base, but I don't think it's going to get enough done. Because, sure, there's lots of anti-air coming out. They're defending in every way they can. Slayer anti-air T3 turrets going up here. Are we going to stop and try and kill this? No, he's just moving on over. There's 3 Salems in this pond now. Why? Just why? That's right, because he's going for the other air grid, BurnTRuffles air grid. Which was not insignificant by this stage, but it's not going to survive this restorer pressure. He's almost got another nuke loaded. Is that 3 Novak satellites now? I think it is, but the nuke is under pressure! And boom! The nuke is down, his power's down. Suddenly, that basically feels like BurnTRuffles out of the game here with his power gone. Who's nuking who? Somebody's nuking. The nuke is out here, but it doesn't matter. South Team have recalled from battle after the Restorer Death Ball cleared up their entire air grid. What a game. That was mad. Was there a play of game today? I really don't know. I think it's pretty obvious what I thought the misplays of the game were. For example, could South Team have won if those GCs had just been slightly better microed and done much more damage to HoppeBoi and Sandman's base? I think so. Tell me in the comments below whether you agree with me. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey, because I'm the Commissar, and I will see you next time.